information, 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 data, data, information, information, data, information, information, data, information.
Do you ever have the feeling that the internet knows more about you than you think it should? How do internet companies seem to know your physical location, your profession, your health issues, your sexual orientation, and other details about your life? Details you haven't necessarily shared online. Sometimes it even seems that your phone is listening to you, recording what you say. Maybe you've had a conversation offline and then seen an ad online that references what you were talking about. How is it possible that the internet knows so much about us?
We are at an inflection point in human history. 1,000 years ago, societies and economies around the world were agrarian. The next big economic era was the industrial age, and now we are moving into the digital era, where the world becomes data-driven via advanced analytics, including machine learning and artificial intelligence. Data is an abstraction of the human. What is more human than data about humans? The data-driven world is absolutely inevitable.
Everything you do online is being tracked and recorded. Every website you visit, every search, every like, every comment, every click.
Every Apple product is basically just designed to absorb as much information from you as possible to sell ads to you. Whenever you go to a website, whenever you do anything on the internet, you are generating data that gets stored for further use, even when anonymized. So as you browse more and more, and as you go to different websites, you're effectively creating a profile for yourself.
You're also being tracked offline. Your physical location, your financial history, even the purchases that you make in retail stores are being recorded.
What we buy is so revealing of our lifestyles and our problems.
How do we harness all this data from the offline world that resides in kind of legacy point-of-sale systems and connect it into the digital fabric? And so that's what we've spent the last 6 years doing, and at this point we've aggregated over $2 trillion in consumer spending and integrated into digital media kind of wherever it flows.
All this data is collected, bought, and sold by data brokerage companies like Acxiom and Oracle.
Together, what it means is the marketer will have a view of the consumer where they know what they do via websites and mobile, what they say via social, and what they buy, whether it's online or offline.
Your offline activity is connected to your online activity and used to categorize you in a way that's legible to marketers. You are a trendy homemaker, an elderly retiree, a premium buyer, a fashionista, an avid reader. Sometimes these categories are problematic.
A lot of the stuff that people are being targeted by are things that if a cop pulled you over for, you'd be very upset, right? You'd have a lawsuit. But there's no said rules in advertising. If you want to target a primarily black audience, you don't necessarily know that they are black, right? But you basically build a profile, effectively of stereotypes of web behavior and say, well, this is our black audience, so let's target them.
Recently at work, I saw a report of a taxonomy of users where people were once again put into boxes. Black Lives Matter activists ended up being categorized as hip-hop fans, because obviously users can't be labeled by race.
Ad companies also collect data about you from the information that other people have shared. Your friends, your family, your colleagues.
But Facebook has millions of people that are giving their contact books. So you have this just layering of contact information that's happening on everybody's accounts. And with that kind of information, it lets Facebook basically see kind of like everyone who's ever communicated with anyone else, and they can start doing this network analysis where they see the clusters of people who know each other and it allows them to make these really accurate recommendations about who you maybe should know.
Facebook has a profile of you in their system, even if you've never signed up for an account.
Auto contact information is this information that gets layered onto your account that was added by other people. So anyone you've ever known or communicated with, so even if it's like somebody you met on Craigslist once and they programmed you into their phone with a number that Facebook knows for you and an email address they didn't, that'll be layered onto your account.
When we imagine what is creepy, we think of unwanted attention via our body's sensory organs, and eye watching, and ear listening, and by extension, a camera, a microphone. But now, there are new organs for sense and perception. The phone, the browser, the data center, linear regression.
Advertisers kind of are able to get access to information about you that's not obvious to you, that you can't remove from your account. And I think it does explain some of the creepy ads that people get.
So, the reason it feels the internet knows so much about you is that it does. But why?
How do you sustain a business model in which users don't pay for your service?
Senator, we run ads.
I see.
The whole internet is powered by advertisement dollars, right? Without that, you're not getting a YouTube. You're not getting that for free. You're not getting anything, really, except maybe Amazon.
Facebook isn't a social media company. It's an ad company.
Advertisers, ads, advertiser, ads.
Facebook's mission is not to connect us to each other. It's to connect us to advertisers. And they believe they can do that more effectively if they know everything there is to know about us. Google and Twitter are also ad companies.
A lot of the same technology for searching apply to the advertisements, and that tends to help us with our advertiser value. Advertising, once you know exactly what someone's looking for, is a very effective thing.
But what it means to be an ad company is completely different than what it used to mean.
The industry has, in the last 15 years, gone through not one, but I think several sort of almost cataclysmic changes.
Back in the days of Mad Men, communication was essentially top-down. That is, it's creative-led. Brilliant minds get together and come up with slogans like Beans means Heinz and Coca-Cola is it, and they push these messages onto the audience in the hope that they resonate. Today, we don't need to guess at what creative solution may or may not work.
These companies make virtual models of us. Using the data they collect, they try to predict who we are, what we want, and what we'll do.
We can use hundreds or thousands of individual data points on our target audiences to understand exactly which messages are going to appeal to which audiences way before the creative process starts.
We don't need you to type at all because we know where you are with your permission. We know where you've been with your permission. We can more or less guess what you're thinking about.
Online advertisers like Facebook, Twitter, and Google have built the biggest surveillance network in human history. And yet, it remains unclear if their predictive systems actually work.
The data it's really unreliable and it's based on sloppy analysis, but it still ends up curating your experience.
You only notice the targeted ads that get it right and disregard the hundreds that don't make sense. The fact that these systems are frequently incompetent doesn't mean they aren't dangerous.
In the future, I wouldn't be surprised if that information was used to determine if people could get loans or credit.
We will find increasingly that all aspects of our lives are controlled by predictive systems built with data that was collected, bought, and sold without our knowledge or our consent. Power will rest in the hands of those who control the means of prediction. When you see an ad for something that you just had a private conversation about, it isn't because the internet is recording you speak. It's predicting what you're going to say.